Hello, podcast fam. I am thrilled to share some exciting news. My book, So Grow Lead, is officially live on Amazon. This book is more than just my story of starting a nonprofit and building a peanut butter factory in Malawi. So trust me, the ups and downs of that journey are worth the read. It's also packed with practical strategies to help nonprofit leaders like you tackle challenges with clarity, courage, and a whole lot of heart. If you've ever wondered how to turn your vision into reality, navigate the inevitable hurdles, and build something meaningful, whether in your organization or in your own life, this book is for you. I'd be so grateful for your support in spreading the word. Grab your copy of So Grow Lead in the show notes and on Amazon today. Let's keep sowing seeds of impact together. Welcome to the Lead with Heart podcast, which is dedicated to nonprofit leaders who are passionate about making a difference. I'm your host, Haley Cooper, and I'm thrilled to have you join us on a journey of growth, inspiration, and transformation. At Lead with Heart, we believe that leading with heart means embracing empathy, compassion, and authenticity in every aspect of our work. It's about putting people first, fostering genuine connections, and creating a positive impact that goes beyond numbers and metrics. In the nonprofit world, it can often feel like we're carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. The challenges are immense, and the road can be lonely. But here, you're not alone. This podcast is a community where we support each other, share our stories, and learn together. Each episode will dive into personal and professional development topics tailored specifically for nonprofit leaders. From innovative fundraising strategies and effective team management to self-care practices and leadership insights, we're here to provide you with practical strategies that you can apply to your life and work. My goal is to empower you, elevate your leadership, and engage your heart in all that you do. I want to help you navigate the unique challenges of the nonprofit sector with confidence and resilience, so you can continue to create meaningful change in the world. So whether you're driving to a meeting, taking a break, or winding down for the day, tune in and join us on this journey. Together we'll discover what it truly means to lead with heart. Thank you for being here. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Lead with Heart podcast. This is your host, Haley Cooper, and today's guest has proven that even the most overlooked industries can be a powerful force for good. Over the past 20 years, Dru has founded Inspired Title Group, Inspired Development Group, and Winspire LLC, 3 real estate companies dedicated not just to business success, but to making an impact. With every closing, his companies give back, funding scholarships, supporting mental health awareness, and mentoring the next generation of leaders. Through his mission, The Inspired Way, which if you're watching this video on YouTube, you can see the slogan behind him. Dru has built more than companies. He's built a culture that elevates clients, team members, and entire communities. Today, we're diving into an important conversation about how leaders can break the stigma of mental health in the workplace and why happy, supported teams aren't just a nice to have, they're the foundation of productivity and long-term success. Well, welcome to the podcast, Dru.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Haley. Love to share and talk about all this fun today. It's going to be a great time.
So the Inspired Way is such a powerful concept. Can you share your inspiration behind Inspired Way and what made you really coin this idea?
Absolutely. And thanks for going ahead and using it, because it is literally that. I was inspired by the opportunity that I was afforded through business. Working in the real estate space, a lot of people know, what real estate is, but they don't necessarily know what title insurance is. And that's one of the companies that I own is a title insurance company. It's not sexy. It's not beautiful. It's not something that people can just relate to. They just know it's part of the transaction. And so with that, I was just blessed with the opportunity to continue struggling in finding a way to be different because of the competition in the title insurance business. They're drawn and attracted to going to the places that are well known. The term Chicago title, people have heard that in this industry. So I needed to find out, what is the differentiator? How are we different? Because that was a question I was constantly asked. So I came to that answer by saying, yeah, you know what? This is how I'm going to do this. I'm going to just bring my passion for giving and serving in the communities. And I donate a portion of every transaction, every closing that we do. So when you buy your house, refinance, if we do your transaction, a portion of the proceeds that we earn goes to my 501c3, which is called Heroes Helping Heroes, Illinois. And we are just dedicated to becoming a resource for people that are looking for ways to get help in all of these different avenues. There are so many different avenues. Whether you're a veteran, whether you're a teacher, or you're a healthcare worker, you fall into that category of people that we want to serve. And so I've just been really pushing this hard. And it helps when your daughter is a therapist in the mental health space already. So my passion for this is bled over into her. And she is leading this philanthropy effort with me. And she is the president of that organization, Heroes Helping Heroes, as the therapist. It's been just amazing. It's been just wonderful for us. And we are able to do just so many great things. And I think it's inspired people to kind of see the opportunity to go, I don't know a lot about what you do, but I see the good that you do. And then it gets and strikes conversations, and it opens up the opportunity for us to talk about really a little bit more of what we do.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the next generation are looking for businesses like that, right? Like businesses that are giving back, that are making an impact in the community and not necessarily just a profit, which is important too. But people want to be a part of something, and they're more likely to purchase from a company or join a company that is doing good in the world. And I love that you are bringing in the next generation. You're involving your daughter. Is philanthropy something that has been always a part of your life? Like, where did your first experience of giving back really ignite this fire within you?
I love to tell the story because I met my wife when we were in high school, senior year of high school, and I went to an all-Catholic boys' high school. And we were, part of our religious education was to doing some charity, working with different organizations. And they gave us a list of a lot of things. And you're a high school kid and your thoughts are never really into, what does this mean? What does this do? How does this work? You're like, I got to fulfill this obligation. And I'm going to take the easiest one. It's on a Saturday. It's for an hour. We're going to knock it out. I went and was just looking through these things. And, what touched me was an organization called God's Special Friends. And didn't know anything about it. Didn't know what I was getting into. And I got into this opportunity. And it was for like 6 Saturdays that they had special needs kids participating and coming to the church on a Saturday. And we were just like camp counselors. We played games with them. We would work with them. We would help them with homework if they needed, whatever it was. I never looked back. That was the starting point. And from that day on, I never looked back. It was such an amazing thing. And I utilized that. My first opportunity was I did a lot of weddings, and as a DJ, I was a wedding DJ for a lot of years, and I did weddings, corporate parties, holiday events and things. I took my kids when they were young, and we went to every Christmas, we would go to the hospital, and we played the music at the hospital for Make-A-Wish Foundation, and all these kids, they saw the kids get presents and things, so we started participating as participants, bringing gifts for these kids. And my kids at a young age started to see that it's something more. It's about, and I say this every day at the office, how are you going to make a difference in somebody's life today? What are you going to do to make a difference in somebody's life today? And that has stuck and really become the mantra of when I walk into the office. It's amusing that the team looks around and goes, before you tell us we're going to do this, or I'm going to say this, or I'm going to do that, and I've got this lined up. It's amazing because it becomes just part of our culture. And I just created this. When you hire somebody, not everybody is philanthropic. Not everybody loves or believes in it. But when we look for people, we start telling them our story, they want to work with us because they love what we're doing. And now you've got somebody who's not just enjoys the work that they do. They're enjoying the work that they do because of the reasons behind it and the cause that they're serving. It becomes bigger than them. You develop a totally different employee that way than you do just hiring somebody and really never getting to know them and never really being an interest of what's going on in their lives and what are some things that they enjoy. What are some missions that they'd like to talk to?
Yeah, I love that. And it speaks volumes to get people to open up about like the causes they care about and then why they care about them. And I think it is such an important part. And like you said, some people, I grew up in a philanthropic family and I've been in nonprofits my whole career. I didn't think that's where I was going to be 15 years ago, but here we are. And so I forget that sometimes people have to be educated on what it means to give back, or sometimes it is hard to get involved because there's so many causes out there. There's so many things that you want to be passionate about. And sometimes that makes you freeze because you're like, well, I care about this, this, and this, but like, how do I even get started? How do I even get involved with a cause and start volunteering when, time is limited, resources are limited, but I think it's just identifying that, narrowing it down to what you really care about, and then taking that first step.
100%. 100%.
So you mentioned a lot about culture, and in your introduction, it sounds like culture is an important part of how you build your companies and your organizations. So first off, I like asking people, what does culture mean to you?
Sure. So really, for me, culture is everything. I put a lot of emphasis on that because, it's the old adage of right butts in the right seats. And I've been a baseball guy for 30 plus years, playing in high school, playing in college, teaching the game to my boys and things. And I wrote a book on it, and I utilized that opportunity when I wrote the book. The book is called The 2-Hour Difference. And it's something that literally allowed me an opportunity to, the way I coached the young kids, and it's not about just a game of baseball, it's about life lessons, okay? And you're teaching life lessons. Well, you're doing the same thing in a working environment as well. You're teaching them life lessons, whether it be the life lesson of the job that you're doing, but why does it have to just stay to that? It can really expand out to, hey, let me challenge you in this life lesson and say, here's an opportunity. Yes or no? Would you be interested in doing this? And I've found that my successes have come from getting the most out of people by challenging them. If you never challenge somebody, if you don't know how good they are until you put them under fire and give them a challenge to work on. And you know what? You got to know your audience too, because that 12-year-old boy that everybody does not want to come up with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and the game on your shoulders. There are several kids who are very happy sitting on the bench, celebrating in the win if that happens, but they don't want to be in the pressure point. But there is somebody who does want to be in the pressure point. And when you find that person, now you can utilize them in a skill set that maybe they didn't know they had, but now you found it in them and they're an amazing leader. And then you've got the other group that is, you just know what their limitations are. And that doesn't make them bad or less, but it's important to know all the players that you have in your office, in your workspace, in your surroundings. So this way you can talk to them. Every conversation isn't the same. Every conversation to every person isn't applicable because they hear it differently. It applies to them differently because they're at different facets of their life, whether they're a young adult, or maybe they're at the latter part of their years thinking about retirement. That conversation is so very different. So culture has so many different meanings. And we spend a lot of time nurturing that and talking about that because the culmination of all of the different age groups and all of the different places that people are in their lives makes up the culture that we call Inspired Title or the Inspired Way. And it takes all different people to do the different jobs that are required for whether it be a philanthropy or whether it be a business or whether it be a ball game. Not everybody can pitch. Not everybody can catch. That's fine. It's just finding out where people excel and highlighting that because now they're excited to be there. Now they know what their role is. You're not asking anything more from them than what they're comfortable doing. And that creates that culture of people feeling secure and enjoying what they do and not feeling that like the pressure is never going to go beyond what they're comfortable doing because we've gone through that exercise already. We've already challenged them in every aspect to say, all right, we know what they like, we know what they don't like. And it really creates some great boundaries. And I'm super excited to be able to do that and I point out to the kids on the baseball team, as well as I point out to my team at the office every day that look what you were able to do because I challenged you, because I pushed you. You would have never done that on your own. What else are you holding back? What else are you just kind of limiting yourself from doing? And then you see this just brightness and excitement in somebody because they were never given that opportunity to show themselves. And I lead in the way that I wanted to be led myself and wanted to be challenged. I have an infectious personality, I'm told. When I get excited, I'm very excitable. And when I get going, like the office jumps on this energy, oh my gosh, he's in that mood again. And it's either get on or get out of the way because it's going to be a whirlwind. But we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some laughs. We may shed a tear here, but we're all going to just get through this thing because it's a team and I'm part of a team. I'm not, just because I've created this, I'm no different. I've done every aspect of what you guys are doing and I know it inside and out. That's what allows me to understand why you feel the way you do or why you're experiencing some of the concerns that you are and understanding really the place you're at. Meet people where they're at. I say that often. It's so important to meet people where they're at. You can't meet them anywhere else. They're not way ahead in advance as you'd like them to be, or maybe they're not as terrible as you think they are. Meet them right where they're at. And let's explore that and figure that out together.
Yeah, I think that's so important, and meeting them where they're at and then offering opportunities for them to learn and grow. I had Christian on the podcast and he wrote a book specifically about how like athletics relate to leadership. And it really resonated with me because I'm a former athlete, soccer and running, cross country, ran D1 in college. And like there's so many leadership skills and applicable life lessons that I learned as an athlete that I still carry today. And like you're saying, and that's an excellent coach, not to have all the answers for you, but really understand where you're at and help unlock that innate potential within you, right? And you have it all along. Sometimes you just need to feel that safety and security of another person to really take that risk. And when you feel safe, you're more likely to collaborate and take risks and together. And so I think that's such a powerful way to create that culture. I also think when it comes to sports, you hear a lot, which we're going to talk about mental health, which I know is a topic that you talk about. When it comes, just equating it back to sports, like, yes, the skill itself is important, but your mental health, and we've seen that over the last couple of years with Simone Biles and one of the tennis players stepping out because of mental health. Like your mentality when it comes to anything, your mental health is just as important as the skill in and of itself. And so I would love to know, although we've seen more conversation about it with those big athletes, it still is a sensitive subject in many workplaces. So what have you learned about breaking the stigma as a leader?
I think it's been something that has been on my heart since I've really been in business and been watching my daughter really evolve in her therapy journey and wanting to be a therapist and really get into the mental health space. I was so just thankful. And it's not my background. It's not anything that I really aspired to do. It was just interesting and exciting watching her follow that, watching her grow into the young adult that she is today and having this tremendous passion for people and the impact that it has. But what I've found through a lot of my mentoring groups and networking events and speaking events that nobody's talking about it, Haley. They know it's there, but they certainly aren't going to bring it up. And there's certainly a lot of my colleagues have given me you should really do something about, you talk about it a lot. You should really do something to maybe bring an awareness to some of our groups and some of our clients and things. I said, why is it on me? Why? Because they're afraid or they don't know or they don't understand. So I started doing mental health panels 3 to 4 times a year where I collaborate with, I get either professionals in the mental health world, whether they're a doctor, a therapist, a social worker, on whatever topic we are bringing home. But I started it out with the basic concept of what does mental health look like in the workplace? And bringing this to fruition to other leaders and really even just the general public. I did not limit the audience to just business people and people that are executives, because as a worker, you can go to the office and the person that's sitting in your quad with you can have a mental health issue and you don't know. And maybe you're having to work with them, but you don't know how to work with them because they've got some depression issues or they've got some other issues that you need to know how to interact. And maybe what does that look like? So we did an hour-long panel event where I was the moderator asking questions and going through the ABCs basically of mental health and the importance of breaking down the stigma and saying, look, let's stop beating it around the bush and sweeping it under the rug. It's here and we need to know how to deal with it. And you folks that maybe are experiencing that mental health concern and those opportunities of unhealthy mind, guess what? Here's some resources for you as to places that you can go or who you can talk to get help with it and get some guidance and direction. It is not always a therapist. It could be a teacher. It could be your counselor. It could be your boss. But as the boss, you also need to, and I hate that term. I hate that term with a passion because leaders and bosses, like that for me is really difficult. You don't lead from running in front of people. You lead from behind and you push these folks along and guide them along the way. I'm nobody's boss. I'm part of the team. Our whole organization we're all a team and we win together, we lose together. If somebody made a mistake, it's our job and responsibility to rally together. But in the mental health space, when I started bringing this up and really talking more about this thing caught fire and we've been doing it this is our first year doing it. I'm doing my third one in October and we have got so many people excited to attend as well as be part of the panel because they want to tell their story. They want to be heard and they want a safe place to do it. That's the common denominator in the 3 events I've done this year and the one I did last year is the common denominator is that people want a safe space to just be heard. And I'm providing that. I'm not a mental health expert. I have a daughter who's a therapist. I'm blessed with an opportunity through the job that I do every day that I get paid for, that I'm creating these opportunities and outlets. So I'm saying to the listeners, you guys can do the same thing by just stepping outside the boat. You're comfortable sitting in that boat, but just step outside that boat and trust and believe that you can walk on that safe space and pursue something that's passionate to you.
Imagine a fundraising partner that not only helps you raise more money, but also supports you in retaining your donors. A partner that helps you raise funds both online and on location so you can grow your impact faster. That's DonorBox, a comprehensive suite of tools, services, and resources that give fundraisers just like you a custom solution to tackle your unique challenges, helping you achieve the growth and sustainability your organization needs, helping you help others. Visit donorbox.org to learn more. Yeah, I like to talk about things that no one else likes to talk about, so that's why I have a podcast. But also, next April, I am hosting the Lead with Heart Summit, and we are talking a lot about mental health in the workplace, mental health for leaders, for emerging leaders, for leaders of color, burnout, mindfulness and meditation, the art of difficult conversations, mental health for working moms. I have a whole line of speakers, but every time I tell people about this concept, they're like, there's nothing like this. We need to have these conversations. People need to have a space where they can heal individually, but also collectively start to have these conversations, start to advocate for each other within the workplace and start to change some of the systems. As the emerging leaders are coming into leadership, they have the power to change the culture and change the conversation. And so my hope is really, well, we're calling it a love letter to the nonprofit industry, but it really is that idea to have those conversations. And I have a degree in kinesiology, but that only goes so far, right? Like I don't have a mental health background. So I am providing space for the experts to come in. And I think that this topic needs to be talked about. It is specifically in the nonprofit space, 75% of people are looking to lead the industry. And it's because of burnout, of conflict, of a number of other factors, but it is something that needs to be addressed and talked about. So I really appreciate that across sectors, you are bringing this topic into the conversation.
Yeah, I enjoy it. And it's, again, I commend you in the work you're doing, because you can tape the heck out of a knee if somebody tears their IT band, but doing the assembling of professionals that can speak on a topic that we're passionate about and can bring a message home to just really impact one person or 100 people. I get chills just saying those words, because the amount of conversation that happens after the conversation, that's where the brilliance is. Like after those speakers get off the stage, or when we're having some time post the event and people are approaching and learning a little bit more about what you do and things, that is really where the work is done, because that's where the real heartfelt questions are asked. That's when the comfortability, they've lowered their shoulders a little bit. They've relaxed a little bit more, and they feel that safe space again. And just to know that we created a safe space where people could just do that. There's so many people that walk around so tense and so scared and so afraid every day to just have a genuine conversation about nothing or impactful something. That's such a gift.
I definitely agree. And I would love to know, what are some of the things that you have implemented in your business to help support the mental health of your employees?
Oh, I mean, you'd be an absolute hypocrite if we didn't have the opportunities for conversations and the open doors of speak up type attitude. We have it taped around our office and our hallways. We share some of our space with other professionals, and they've come over and they just laugh. They're like, this is great. What makes you guys think of this stuff? And it's not a matter of making us think of it. It's a matter of, we're making you guys aware that this is okay. This behavior of you talking or you contacting, or if you need some time, go to our quiet room. Because we have a room down the hall that we utilize for different events. I said, you need to go to our quiet room because you just got bad news, or you're going to blow a stack and you're going to need some time. Go there. Sit there, take it easy. Yeah. I'm not looking at the clock and worried about that. I'm trusting the fact that I'm giving you the opportunity to heal your mental self, because you're no good to me if your mental health is in peril. And we do a lot of different check-ins with each other, with our different groups our different departments that we have. And it's a mental health check-in where I think Steve is really struggling this week, and maybe be worthy of us just letting him go home early today, a couple days this week, to really just rest his mind and maybe delegate some of his work to somebody else. That's superpower, because it means that we care. Like, he is so speechless at that offer that somebody has that much care and concern in his mental health that they're asking him to leave early, take care of yourself. We got you. And that builds a trust, that builds a bond, and it builds rapport with that person that makes them want to keep coming back. And we've had people leave us to go to other businesses and things. And I've had many of those come back to my workplace to come back here to work again, because the mental health care, it wasn't necessarily about the dollars and cents. It was about how they were treated by their employers versus how they were treated here. They thought the money was a bigger deal, so that's why they left. When they came back, they realized it's not always about the money. And you know what? I don't need to speak any more than that, because that message in today's world is huge. That speaks volumes to me and what my team has spent time nurturing and doing and trying to get better at every day.
Yeah, I mean, that speaks volumes, because you could be really passionate about the mission, but if you don't feel supported or like you're trusted in the workplace, like that is a make or break on the deal, right?
Totally.
Like, it doesn't make you any less passionate, but it does make sense, because I want to double tap when you said trust. Like, that is everything. Like, instead of assuming, going to that guy and being like, you're not performing, like you need to step it up. You're like, hey, what is going on? We know that you care. We know that you have this potential. Like, you don't have to tell us everything, but like, we would love to offer this to you if you need it to go take a minute and reset and take care of the things that you need to take care of so that you can show up 100%. Because when people feel trusted, well, some people are like, leave yourself at home and bring it, like, you got to bring your mask to the workplace,
Yes.
but you're going to bring your whole self to the workplace, whether it shows externally or internally or the way that you're going about tasks. And so I think allowing people to show up and be real and be like, hey, I need to go take care of this and I will be back, and trusting that they will get the job done. Because I've been in positions where I don't trust you unless I see you,
Sure.
kind of thing.
Right.
And that doesn't feel good. But it's like, I had a boss who was like, Haley, I trust you. I know you're going to get it done. Like, go do what you need to do. And it just is that connected piece within you, right? You're like, I feel seen. And I think that is, again, what allows us to communicate, to collaborate, to innovate, to take risks together, because we feel like, oh, I don't have to worry about this anymore because I was able to take care of it first.
Right. I mean, think about how, worthless so many workers feel today in their workplace because they leave their job every day and they're not sure if what they did today was good or if anybody even cared, or they feel like there's this void. I want people to leave knowing that they were respected, they had some fun, they accomplished some things, and they made a difference. If they don't feel that when they leave the day, then I didn't do my job. I didn't pour into them and breathe some life into them to make them feel that way or help them feel that way. And that, as a leader, that is something that is super important on me. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure that I address and talk to people every day. And I'm engaged and involved in knowing their lives and what's going on in their family and friends and situations. Because, again, to your point, it goes back to saying that I trust that what I share with Dru is going to be kept with Dru. He's not going to be speaking out of turn. And he's going to offer me a resource, an opportunity to maybe go talk to somebody else, or he's going to put me in touch with some people that he knows that can maybe help out a circumstance or situation. I'm not saying that I want to be a rescuer for all these folks, but a resource, and allowing somebody else to turn in a direction that has at least some direction versus turning in a direction going down a path of uncertainty. Give them a path of hope versus the path of darkness.
Hey there, podcast family. If you're like me and deeply committed to improving your leadership skills and fostering better connections with your team, I've got something truly amazing to share with you. I'm proud to introduce the EMC Masterclass, something I talk about often as a certified trainer. It's an incredible program developed by the renowned Dr. Lola Gershfeld, an organizational psychologist and corporate emotional connection expert. You might remember her from a podcast episode where she shared invaluable insights into the world of emotional connection. Dr. Gershfeld's EMC Leaders courses are designed for anyone working with people, whether you're a manager, supervisor, team leader, educator, coach, mentor, or a team member. This program is truly for everyone looking to enhance their communication and collaboration skills to raise more revenue for their mission. Now, let me tell you why the EMC Masterclass is a game changer. Dr. Gershfeld's groundbreaking emotional connection process has been integrated into top universities' curriculum and recognized by international organizations like ICF, HRCI, and SHRM. Humans are wired to seek emotional safety, and when we feel safe, we're more likely to take risks, share innovative ideas, and collaborate effectively. The EMC process is the catalyst for creating that emotional safety within your team. The virtual EMC Masterclass consists of 8 modules with 4 hours of expertly recorded material, 13 quizzes to reinforce your learning, and a workbook filled with activities for offline practice and something I still refer to daily. Ready to become an emotional connection master? Dr. Gershfeld is offering an exclusive detail for our podcast listeners. Use the code LEADWITHHEART to enjoy a generous 10% discount on the EMC Masterclass. Head over to emcleaders.com and enroll in the EMC Masterclass today. Yeah. And I think also, I was just thinking like in nonprofits, like I've worked for a lot of organizations that specifically focus on health, but their employees don't get the same access to resources that the mission gives to the community. And obviously, employees are part of the community, and a lot of them, just simple health benefits haven't been involved. And that can start the process of supporting people. And so I think it's important to have this conversation and put support systems in place so that you are living that mission in and out, and people will stay or people will come back. Or if people leave, you are equipping them to go and bring this into the next organization that they're at. And so it's going to have that ripple effect among whatever business or sector that you're in. And so I think it's so important. And looking ahead, how do you see mental health awareness and team happiness transforming not just your industry, but leadership across all sectors?
That's a great question. I am very hopeful that more people really start to feel safe and comfortable to getting help with some of the things that they're wrestling with. And I try to just encourage people to open up and speaking up and finding that comfortable person, space, whatever that is, to allow it not to be burning inside of you. I hope that between your philanthropic efforts and the efforts that we're doing and so many other people are out there doing, that we're able to really broaden our message and expand our outreach to touching those folks that are so impacted and affected by this, because there's nothing worse than just the assumptions that are made and the judgments that are made, because depression is an illness and depression is a disease. Addiction is a disease. It's not like they chose to be addicted to something. And to treat them as their outcast or to look down upon their struggles and some of their difficulties, I challenge the people who do that to check themselves a little bit and really ask yourselves the question. Mental health has probably touched everybody in some facet, right? Like, because when you say mental health, it's so broad. It just is all encompassing. So to say that you've never been impacted by mental health, give yourself a few more minutes before you say that again. Just really think about that, because you know what? You probably have. And you'll probably retract maybe the way you feel, the way you think about that other situation. And just don't jump to a conclusion to say that, well, that's not mental health or that doesn't relate to mental health. Because you know what? Behind the scenes, it does. Because that person's struggle and difficulty is another person's sadness, depression, anxiety, name it. Addiction, go down the list. It turns into a lot of these different things. So I really hope that that's what fuels me every day, is to lessen the amount of doubters out there and bring more of the people who could open up to the forefront.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I had Dr. Jennifer from ADHD Holistically talk about ADHD and educate about it, because as someone who identifies having ADHD, I used to think it was like, you can't focus and you're never going to be successful. But it's like your brain just operates a little bit differently, and you have to have the self-awareness or tools to know, how to operate within the workplace, or things that I've learned over the last couple of years of like when I most efficiently work, when I can zone in on that hyper focus. But that's one of the things that gets a bad stigma, because you think of the little boy that's impulsive and acting out. And obviously with women, it's a lot different. And so just educating yourself on those different things, and then asking too, like, how can I best support you instead of judging? Because often judging comes from your own insecurities. But I think instead of judgment, just get curious and ask questions, and the person can share up to their comfort level. But I think getting curious and seeing how you can support people instead of resorting to that judgment, again, speaks volumes to that trust, right? Because like you said, like, people don't necessarily choose whatever they're experiencing. Sometimes it's epigenetic. Sometimes there's other resulting factors. And just asking questions and figuring out how you can support people in the workplace is just questions instead of assumptions is important.
No doubt. And I love curious. I think you said it well with be more curious versus judgmental. And ask yourself the whys behind that, and it will take you down the right path typically, because the educated mind kind of answers itself. Really great thing.
Well, as we wrap up, I would love to ask you, what is one thing that you do daily or weekly to take care of your mental health?
That's easy. And I'm a runner, and my goal was at 50 to run our Chicago Marathon. And I did that. And I said, that was great. And I said, so I stayed in that space because that's kind of my outlet. I've had some hip issues and things recently that have slowed it down a little bit, but I still put forth that effort. And I'm very motivated by I always challenge myself to do something every year. During COVID, I wrote the book. At 50, I ran the marathon, and I keep doing these things. And I'm going, they're getting bigger as I get older. There could be an injury thing here. This cannot lead to something good. But I said that I'd run another marathon before I read another book, because that writing of a book was emotional and difficult. So yeah, I'm actually going to be training for an Ironman as well. So that's,
wow.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
It is. I think that's my culmination of at 55. That's where I call it a day. We'll just rock it there and be done.
That's a big milestone. Wow. It takes a lot of training. So kudos to you for setting that big milestone. That's so exciting to embark on that journey. And Dru, if people want to learn more about the work that you do, where can they find you?
You can absolutely reach me. I think LinkedIn is probably the easiest space. I am Dru, D-R-U. My mom did it. I didn't. I'm actually Andrew. And she went ahead and shortened it and said, we're going to spell it D-R-U. And I went, you don't have to live with it like I do every day, Mom. And you talk about mental health. Come on, Mom. You're already setting me off on a bad start. Last name is Wischhover. Again, I wish it was easily spelled the same way, but it's W-I-S-C, 2 H's. So it's H-H-O-V-E-R. So you can reach me at LinkedIn. I'm love to connect with people, and I am always interested in hearing stories. And we're always looking for panelists and people in the mental health profession, and even in the healthcare workers. We're all about supporting everybody. So let's connect and let's chat.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I have truly enjoyed this conversation.
I've enjoyed being here. Thank you so much for having me. This has been great.
Hey, before you go, want to watch? Yes, watch the best moments from the Lead with Heart episodes? We're sharing the most powerful highlights and takeaways over on our brand new YouTube channel. Yes, we are on YouTube. Just search for The Savvy Fundraiser on YouTube and hit subscribe so you never miss a moment of insight and inspiration. The link is in the show notes as well. Thanks for listening, and as always, keep leading with heart.